4 pages, right, down to 1, right? I can't make my speech any shorter than it is, right? It's going to be really long, right? But anyway, I wanted to start off by thanking Mary and the Capital District Area Labour Federation, and I want to thank all of you for being here tonight as well, right? It's a real honour to be in with your friends and with the people you really truly respect, the people you have worked with, the people who have worked with you. Now, I have a lot of thanks to give to different people tonight, I can tell you that right now. But I was really pleased to be sharing the award stage with Carrie Warner. Carrie and I meet regularly at the Labour breakfast, but also Carrie and I have met so many times at different picket lines in the Capital District, many of them not even in her own district. So I want to thank Carrie for that. We know who our friends are, Carrie, all right? People who get these awards, I think, they generally have a very strong support system going for them, and I certainly have that in the person of my partner, Anita Thayer. If I tell Anita I'm going to be speaking someplace, the first thing she says is, there's only one question, right? How long is it, right? And tonight I have to tell you I didn't take her advice, and I know I'm in for trouble later on, okay? But I'm going to plow on here, as they say. I also want to thank my family, Brian Ritchie and Nora Ritchie's in Brooklyn someplace, and Erica, Brian's wife, and all my whole family, because I have been supported by people like them, like yourselves, for a very long, long time in my lifetime, and I really appreciate that, right? There is no way that I can proceed without thanking my wonderful mother-in-law. I'm talking about a 90-year-old person, Hertha Thayer, who is sitting at this table over here, who's bouncing back from a recent injury, right? And she can't wait until she gets back to walking her 2 miles every day. Go Hertha! Unions, the New York State United Teachers, for all the support I had during my 14 years as president of the Albany County, of the Albany Public School Teachers Association, and their confidence in me as a delegate at the ALF. Thank you. I also want to thank the New York State Nurses Association, who got me out of mothballs and taught me what it took to be a successful organizer in an open shop hospital. Thank you. I will never forget my run with AFSTA, the Albany Public School Teachers Association. We had great contracts. We were a respected force in the community and had no problem working with the PTA and parents on educational issues. I was lucky to be surrounded by outstanding AFSTA negotiators and executive committees. Kathy, Neil, Mary, Eileen, and folks like Don Makeley, Barbara O'Heaney, and of course, Albany's scariest union leader, my heroine, Josephine Sano. I'm not sure where I would have ended up without the support of so many great union leaders and activists in our capital district. So many of you are here tonight. We have a great ACCFL Executive Committee. Doug, Barbara, Pat, Wayne, Tony, Steve Z, Liz, Dominic. What a gang. That's the reason the Labour Council operates as well as it does is because of their leadership and of course because of the support we get from our delegates. I've been honoured to serve with my sisters and brothers on the Area Labour Federation board, and Mark Emanation and Cara have always been very patient with me, I can tell you. The Solidarity Committee of the Capital District is still going strong, and I have always felt comfortable working with them. I am continually inspired by the political drive of our community partners such as Citizen Action, and earlier, way back, the Coalition Against Apartheid and Racism, and more recently, yes, the Council of Churches. Thank you, Peter. I'm not leaving here tonight without thanking my dear friend, co-conspirator and Yeats scholar, Tony McCann.
That's wrong.
Tony, and I mean this in all sincerity, has a brilliance and a compassion about him. And it was with his help and the help of local leaders which led to the adoption of many of our policy-changing resolutions at NICET and AFT. I don't forget that, right? Wonderful. Sermon time, you ready? Bear with me. Now, I'm particularly honoured to be receiving this award at a time when the contradiction between labour and capital is becoming more intense. For more than 30 years, we have witnessed a top-down, one-sided class war against poor and working people in the name of morally bankrupt policies of deregulating markets, lowering taxes, slashing spending for the socially neglected and economically challenged. It is becoming more virulent at every turn. The case for capital economics is losing steam. The case for an economy which puts people before profits is gaining traction. Nothing is static. We are moving one way or the other. For many workers, a tipping point has been reached, as was evidenced by the massive grassroots-led teacher uprisings in West Virginia, Arizona, Oklahoma, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Colorado. And more recently, Washington State, and as recently as last week, decisions have been made in Los Angeles. More power to them. Crucial to these struggles is the unity between union members, non-union support personnel, and community members. In July, in Burlington, 1,800 registered nurses conducted a two-day strike. A minimum wage of $15 for non-union co-workers was included in their demands. All workers fighting together. It's like a return to the industrial unionism of the CIO in the 1930s. Our task in Open Shop America is to rebuild working class power, and I am using working class in its broadest sense. Closer to home, our New York State public employee unions have been reacting and responding to the despicable Janus decision. It was never about the First Amendment. It was always about destroying the union movement, and we all know that. As Bill Fletcher has said, we don't need right to work, we need rights at work. Our public employee unions have to be commended for their very successful pre- and post-Janus membership engagement campaigns. Door-to-door, one-on-one, member-to-member. That's the way to do it. The numbers of members rejecting their unions is minuscule. I have to note that the number of APSTA members, Albany Public School Teacher Association members, renewing their union membership has been, guess what? 100%. Big congratulations to Laura Franz and her leadership team. The business of selling our unions to our members is important, but let us be clear, it is not enough. We are now faced with the challenge of losing our membership from successfully achieved levels of engagement to part 2. I am talking about worker empowerment, both in our workplace and within our communities. We need to move from a transactional relationship to a transformational movement, recognizing the centrality of class, race, and gender in our society. We cannot rely on executive orders or legislative fixes to empower us or to build working class power. We are on our own, but the exciting part of this is that as members of our union movement, we can and will be the mighty force that we can and will be together. There is no plan B. These changes will not happen overnight, but have to be part of our guiding vision. Now, I have two lists. One is of the bad things that happened to us this year, and one of the good things that happened, right? Now, you've heard about all the good things already. I may get back to them, right? But some of the bad things, we need to understand this and not forget it. Fast food corporations don't have to negotiate contracts as joint employers. Bidders for federal contracts do not have to disclose past labour and safety violations. Employers can make employees sign arbitration agreements that waive their rights to class or collective action lawsuits. The Department of Labour has blocked overtime pay for millions of workers earning less than $47,000 a year. A tax bill has added more than $1 trillion to the deficit and transferred vast amounts of wealth to the rich. Corporate profits are sky high. 40 years later, wages are still stagnating. At every turn, right-wing attempts are being made to sabotage the Affordable Care Act and deny health care to millions of workers. The administration of DC has created a reign of terror from immigrants and all non-English speaking citizens. Children have been ripped from their parents. ICE is in stormtrooper mode in our communities. Plans are afoot to freeze wage increases for 700,000 federal government union employees. If you don't think the war on working people is real, I don't want to tell you. I do know what we have to say and how we have to act. When they say give back, what do we say?
Fight back!
When they say give back, what do we say?
Fight back!
When they say give back, what do we say?
Fight back!
We're not just saying fight back. We are doing fight back. We are on a major collision course with corporate elements in this country. Make no mistake, this is the framework in which we are operating. Our fight back is taking place on many fronts. You know, something is happening in this country, right? Something which hasn't happened for quite some time. And it is, for me anyway, and I think for many people in this room, encouraging. Public approval of unions is soaring. The most recent Gallup poll, and it's quite recent, 61%, highest since 2003. Mary and Mark have already talked about the Constitutional Convention. You know, folks, we blew that damn thing right out of the water. Out of the water, and you know it, right? Again, in 2017, 262,000 new union members joined the labour movement, three quarters of whom are younger than 35, right? In January, we had the HTC mega victory at the Hilton Hotel. They mobilised an army of people to stand up to the owners of that place and ended up by getting a very solid contract for it. 2,200 RNs at Albany Medical Centre last May. Give me a break, right? Hey, Missouri, not the most progressive state in the union, I don't believe, right? A couple of weeks back, right, on August the 7th, voters rejected right-to-work legislation for private sector workers by more than a margin of 2 to 1. Not bad, right? 2 weeks ago, in a mega victory for the American Federation of Government Employees, the DC Federal District Court struck down 3 miserable presidential executive orders regarding termination, evaluations, and union-related business. You know, the real deal is that the fictional narrative of Labour's downfall is being upended by the reality of working people creating for ourselves. Moving ahead, and finally, a common thread running through the struggles I have mentioned so far is the importance of worker empowerment inside our unions and in our communities. An injustice in the workplace has to be confronted by workers on the shop floor. We have to be willing to act collectively, to march on the boss, and, like the teachers in West Virginia and other states, we have to retain the capacity to disrupt the daily flow of activities in our workplaces. If we are to retain credibility with our fellow citizens, we have to wholeheartedly support such issues as campaign finance reform, paid family leave, paid sick leave for all our workers, and not just in our own Albany County. A union is not a debating society. It is not an insurance company. It is not a protection racket. It is a movement which has to inspire our co-workers to stand together with members of our class, each with our feet on the ground, in the determined struggle to achieve justice for workers in the workplace and the community, to defend and improve our lives and the lives of others in our broader society. Brothers and sisters, let's not kid ourselves. Our struggle is a lifelong commitment. It is my honour to be working with all of you in this struggle. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, CDLF. Thank you.